Have you ever wondered why some people seem unbreakable, as if nothing said or done can reach them, while others carry invisible wounds that reopen with the slightest touch? Most people believe strength means being unaffected, untouched, immune. But that idea is not strength. It is survival dressed as pride. You learned early that pain was something to escape. Criticism meant danger, rejection meant failure, loss meant weakness. So you adapted. You learned to smile while bleeding. You learned to say, "I'm fine," even when something inside you was collapsing. Over time, this became your identity. The strong one, the composed one, the one who never cracks. But there is a cost to this performance, and you are paying it quietly. Here is the truth few people are willing to confront. Pain does not disappear when you ignore it. It waits. It embeds itself into your reactions, your relationships, your choices. It shapes the way you interpret the world. The more you try to avoid pain, the more power it gains over you. What you resist does not weaken. It sharpens. You think what hurts you is out there. The words someone said, the way they left, the betrayal you didn't see coming. But none of these things would have the power to destroy you if they did not touch something already wounded within you. External events are only triggers. The real source of pain lives inside, unresolved, unnamed, unseen. This is why two people can experience the same event and respond completely differently. One absorbs the impact and continues forward. The other collapses under the weight of it. The difference is not character. It is awareness. Pain strikes hardest where there is unconscious material waiting to be exposed. You still suffer because a part of you believes that if you become good enough, strong enough, understanding enough, the world will finally treat you gently. This belief keeps you trapped in constant tension. You monitor yourself. You edit your emotions. You anticipate rejection before it arrives. You try to control outcomes so you won't have to feel again. But control is an illusion, and chasing it is exhausting. Strength is not about protecting yourself from pain. It is about understanding it. Until you are willing to face what hurts you without running, you will remain vulnerable to everything and everyone. Every comment will feel personal. Every silence will feel like abandonment. Every loss will feel like proof that something is wrong with you. Most people confuse emotional armor with emotional maturity. They shut down. They detach. They convince themselves they no longer care. But numbness is not power. Numbness is fear disguised as indifference. What you avoid does not leave you. It follows you into every room, every relationship, every quiet moment alone. Real strength begins the moment you stop trying to escape yourself. When you turn inward and ask not, "Why did they do this to me?" but "What did this awaken in me?" That question changes everything. It shifts your focus from blame to understanding, from reaction to insight. You are not broken for feeling deeply. You are untrained. No one taught you how to sit with discomfort without collapsing or hardening. No one showed you that pain can be observed without becoming your identity. But this is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned. This journey is not about becoming cold. It is not about becoming untouchable. It is about becoming conscious. Because the moment you see clearly what moves you, what wounds you, what triggers you, those things lose their grip. Awareness weakens what resistance strengthens. If this is resonating, it is because a part of you is ready to stop surviving and start understanding. This is where the work begins. Not with the world changing, but with you seeing yourself clearly for the first time. This first step is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. You can no longer hide behind circumstances or other people. You are asked to witness yourself honestly. That honesty will feel destabilizing at first, but it is the foundation of everything that follows. Without it, nothing changes. With it, everything begins. And there is no turning back now. The most dangerous thing about your life is not what you feel. It is what you feel without knowing why. This is where real captivity begins. You believe you are making choices, reacting logically, responding appropriately. But most of what drives you happens beneath the surface, outside your awareness. And that is why it feels uncontrollable. You tell yourself you lost control in that moment, that your anger just came out, that the sadness appeared without warning, that the fear didn't make sense. But nothing inside you is random. Every emotional reaction is a response to something stored, something unresolved, something buried. The problem is not the emotion. The problem is that you are unconscious of its origin. As long as you live this way, you are not free. You are reactive. You are predictable. You are living on autopilot while convincing yourself you are in charge. This is the greatest illusion most people live under. They confuse awareness with intelligence and reaction with choice. Your unconscious is not passive. It is not dormant. It is an active system constantly influencing what you notice, what you ignore, what hurts you, and what you chase. It remembers what you try to forget. It preserves what you were forced to suppress. And it speaks through patterns, not words. Look at your life carefully. The same type of relationships repeating, the same emotional traps, the same self-sabotage appearing just as things begin to work. This is not coincidence. This is internal material demanding recognition. What you do not face does not vanish. It reorganizes your life from the shadows. You wonder why certain words cut so deeply while others roll off your back. Why one person's opinion can ruin your day while another's means nothing. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is information. Those moments point directly to unresolved wounds still active within you. They reveal where your identity is fragile, where your sense of worth is conditional, where old narratives still operate. But instead of listening, you judge yourself. You say you're too sensitive, too emotional, too reactive. You try to suppress the response instead of understanding it. This creates internal conflict. One part of you feels, another part condemns, and the tension between them becomes anxiety, resentment, exhaustion. Here is the brutal truth. As long as you refuse to look inward, you will continue blaming outward. You will keep giving people power over your emotional state without realizing you are the one handing it to them. Not intentionally, but unconsciously. An unconscious power is the strongest kind of power there is. You want to be unshaken, but you are still negotiating with the world for safety. You still believe that if circumstances improve, if people behave better, if outcomes change, then you will finally be at peace. That belief keeps you dependent. Peace that relies on external conditions is not peace. It is fragile stability. The unconscious does not disappear because you ignore it. It becomes louder. If you don't listen when it whispers, it will scream. Through emotional breakdowns, through destructive habits, through relationships that mirror your unresolved conflicts back to you with brutal accuracy. Most people never make this connection. They spend their lives trying to fix the surface while the root continues to rot. They switch environments, partners, careers, identities, hoping the discomfort will stay behind. It never does, because it lives inside them. The moment you begin observing instead of reacting, something shifts. You create distance between stimulus and response. You stop being possessed by emotion and start witnessing it. This is not detachment, it is clarity, and clarity is power. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness observing them. But until you learn this, you will continue confusing internal noise for truth. Every feeling will feel final. Every reaction will feel justified. Every impulse will feel urgent. This is the threshold. Most people turn back here because it requires responsibility. You can no longer blame fate, childhood, or other people without also taking ownership of your inner world. But this responsibility is not a burden. It is the doorway to freedom. Once you see the machinery operating beneath your reactions, it loses its authority. And when the unconscious begins to become conscious, the grip loosens. You are no longer dragged through life by forces you don't understand. You begin to stand still while the chaos moves around you. And that is where real strength is born. You were taught to fear pain long before you understood it. You learned that suffering meant something was wrong with you, that discomfort was a sign of failure, that strong people didn't feel deeply and successful people moved on quickly. So you learned to run. You distracted yourself. You stayed busy. You numbed. You avoided silence because silence made the pain louder. But pain never leaves when you abandon it. It waits, and when it returns, it doesn't ask permission. Ignored pain does not fade. It transforms. It becomes anxiety that appears for no clear reason. It becomes anger that erupts at the wrong people. It becomes emptiness when everything seems fine. It becomes self-destructive impulses that confuse you because you should be happy. Pain that is not faced does not die. It mutates. Here is what most people never realize. Suffering is not random. It is purposeful. Pain is the language your inner world uses when it has been ignored for too long. It is the signal that something inside you is misaligned, unfinished, or asking to change. When you silence that signal, you silence your own capacity to grow. This is why you feel stuck, not because you are weak, but because a part of you is trying to evolve, while another part is clinging to what feels familiar. Growth feels like loss before it feels like freedom. Every transformation begins with a form of mourning. The death of an identity, the collapse of an illusion, the letting go of a version of yourself that once kept you safe. This is where most people turn back. They mistake discomfort for danger. They confuse emotional pain with harm. So they retreat to old patterns, old relationships, old roles, because at least those are predictable. But predictability is not peace, it is stagnation. Pain intensifies when you resist it because resistance creates internal war. One part of you wants truth, another wants comfort, one wants expansion, the other wants control, and you stand in the middle, exhausted, trying to satisfy both. This conflict is the source of your deepest suffering. There is a moment in every inner journey where avoidance stops working, where distractions lose their effect, where the pain demands to be seen. This moment feels like collapse, like something is breaking. But what is actually breaking is the structure that no longer fits who you are becoming. Pain strips you. It removes the masks. It exposes what you can no longer pretend about yourself. This is terrifying because it leaves you without defenses, but it is also the first moment of honesty. And honesty is the foundation of strength. You don't become powerful by eliminating pain. You become powerful by surviving it consciously, by staying present instead of dissociating, by feeling without drowning, by allowing discomfort without turning it into identity. Pain loses its authority when it is fully experienced and understood. This is why those who avoid suffering remain fragile. Any unexpected event shatters them because they have never tested their inner stability. But those who have walked through pain deliberately develop a depth that cannot be shaken easily. They know what they can endure, and that knowledge changes how they move through the world. There is nothing noble about endless suffering, but there is something transformative about conscious suffering. Pain becomes destructive only when it is unconscious. When you don't know why you're hurting, pain feels endless. When you understand its message, it becomes temporary. This is the paradox. The very thing you have been running from is the doorway to the strength you want. Pain is not punishment. It is pressure. And pressure either crushes or shapes, depending on how it is met. If you are still listening, it is because some part of you already knows this. You have felt it in moments of clarity between breakdowns. You sensed that something inside you was asking for courage, not escape. That this discomfort was pointing you somewhere deeper. The question is not whether pain will come. It always does. The question is whether you will meet it consciously or be dragged by it unconsciously. One path breaks you slowly. The other rebuilds you from the core. In the next part, we will go where few are willing to go. The dismantling of identity, the loss of the mask, the loneliness of becoming whole. This is where people either turn back forever or step into something irreversible. There comes a moment in this journey when something subtle but irreversible happens. The fight softens. The noise fades. You realize that the identity you protected for so long was never your core, only your shelter. Strength, composure, self-control, emotional distance. These were not who you were. They were what you built to survive. And now they begin to loosen, not because you are failing, but because you no longer need them. This stage feels like loss before it feels like clarity. The persona you lived through starts to dissolve. You no longer react the way people expect. Old triggers lose their urgency. Familiar emotional scripts stop working. This can feel disorienting, even lonely, because you are no longer performing a role that others recognize. But this is not collapse. This is integration. True emotional power does not come from adding armor. It comes from removing what is false. Each illusion that falls creates more internal stability, not less. You stop defending an image. You stop negotiating for approval. You stop explaining yourself to be understood. And slowly, without force, your inner world becomes quieter. Nothing external has changed, yet everything feels different. Criticism still exists, but it does not penetrate. Loss still hurts, but it does not erase you. Rejection still stings, but it does not define you. This is not because you feel less. It is because there is nothing unresolved inside for those experiences to attach themselves to. This is what emotional immunity truly is. Not numbness, not indifference, not superiority. It is coherence. When your inner world is integrated, the outer world loses leverage. Words pass through you without lodging. Silence no longer feels like abandonment. Uncertainty no longer feels like threat. You begin to notice space between stimulus and response. That space is consciousness, and consciousness changes everything. Where you once reacted automatically, you now observe. Where you once collapsed inward or lashed outward, you now choose. This choice is quiet, almost invisible, but it is absolute power. Most people spend their lives armoring themselves against pain, unaware that the armor itself becomes the prison. You chose a different path. You allowed yourself to feel fully, to look honestly, to stay present when running would have been easier. Because of that, you no longer need protection from life. You are aligned with it. This alignment changes how you move through the world. There is less urgency in your voice, less defensiveness in your posture, less hunger for validation. You no longer need to dominate or disappear. You no longer need to prove strength or hide vulnerability. Both exist without conflict. Some people will feel confused by this shift. Others will feel uncomfortable around it. A few will mistake it for distance or coldness. Let them. Depth often looks like silence to those who live on the surface. You did not walk this far to be understood by everyone. You walked this far to be free. This freedom is not dramatic. It is steady. It shows up in how quickly you recover, how calmly you respond, how rarely you abandon yourself. Pain still visits, but it no longer rules. Fear still arises, but it no longer drives. You are no longer fragmented, no longer split between who you are and who you pretend to be. This is the end of unconscious survival. From here on, life is lived deliberately. You listen sooner. You feel honestly. You act with clarity. And when you stumble, you return to awareness instead of punishment. You are not untouchable because nothing can hurt you. You are untouchable because nothing controls you. Nothing outside owns your inner state. Nothing external defines your worth. You stand rooted, not hardened, present, not protected. If this journey has changed something in you, honor it with stillness. Do not rush back to noise. Let the integration settle. This awareness is not a moment. It is a way of living. And once it begins, there's no going back to who you were before. This path asks for patience, honesty, and courage every single day. But in return, it offers something rare. An inner stability that remains intact no matter what the world removes from you forever inside.